Hey guys, I'm kind of bored and I want to post something on YouTube because one thing about me, you guys, I have a couple videos that I recorded for you guys, but I just get hecka lazy to edit them and therefore I don't post them because I don't edit them. But one thing about me, you guys, I'm gonna edit them and post them, but I want to post this video first because this video is gonna be more easier to edit, I feel like, and it's just gonna be more productive because one thing about me, you guys, I'm gonna be cleaning my room. I'm not gonna show you my room, but you can barely see the floor. And it's just not really giving. So I'm gonna be cleaning my room today, and I'm also gonna be talking about, okay, before I tell you guys what I'm gonna be talking about, I just want to let you guys know, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. I did not peak in high school, but yeah, I just want to talk about why I didn't like high school and like why I hated high school and why I wasn't, like, you know, I don't know. I just didn't like high school, you guys. And I just like I just want this to be the last time I talk about high school. High school is like an important 4 years for everybody, but I just like want to stop dwelling on high school. I don't think I dwell on it much, but I always reflect on it, and I just kind of want to stop because it's like, you know what, like, I'm done with it. High school's high school, like, that's it. Like, yeah, so I'm just gonna be talking about why I didn't like high school. I'm like out of breath already. But yeah, so I'm just gonna start cleaning my room. I have a lot of clean laundry right here on top of my like squishmallows and everything that I need to hang up right here, so I'm gonna be doing that while I'm talking. But I hope you guys can hear me too, because one thing about me, like, I don't have my mic attached to it, but I hope you guys can hear me. But yeah, anyways, I didn't like high school, you guys. I regret going to the high school that I went to. Actually, I don't really regret it because I wouldn't have met like my really good friends that I made in high school, but I had the option to go to either two schools, Bayer or Enochs. And Bayer, like, I could walk to Bayer. Enochs, I could walk there and back, but it takes me literally almost an hour. Like, that's how far I live from there. And I've had to walk home a few times. Yeah, so I chose to go to Enochs because my friend group in 8th grade was mostly going to Enoch. So I transferred to Enochs, and I also went there because my brother went there, and like I just like kind of wanted to follow my brother's footsteps. Just so my life wouldn't be too complicated. Yeah, so I started freshman year. My battery is literally about to die. I hope it doesn't die during this because this is just gonna be really awkward. I have a haircut in like 20 minutes too, so I'm like, oh, I need to leave in 15 minutes actually, so I need to get this done. Yeah, freshman year, it was not a good year. Like, that was like my least favorite year of high school, you guys. Like, I would never, ever, ever do freshman year ever again. Like, Like, one thing about me, guys, I'm so glad those days are over. But yeah, what made freshman year so hard for me? One, I went to a really big school. School had like 5,000 people in it. Like, it was that big. Obviously freshman, it's kind of hard to be a freshman because you're like fitting in everything. Like, you don't know where anything is. People like try to clown on you and everything. But what made it hard for me is that like I was a quiet kid. Like, I didn't talk a lot in high school. I wasn't popular. I wanted to be popular, but now I'm like, why would I want to be popular? You know, like, I'm glad I wasn't popular, but I like wanted, like, yeah, I was a quiet kid. Like, I didn't talk a lot. And yeah, I wouldn't say that I got bullied, but what would happen is that in PE, I first period PE, my locker, like, so we had like a little locker, like a little square locker, but our backpacks couldn't fit in that locker. We were only given one lock, and I would lock my personal stuff in the little locker, like my phone, like, you know, my wallet. And then I would just, there was like bigger lockers, but you kind of have to share those with other people so that multiple people can put their backpacks in it. Some people would put their locks in that big locker, and I obviously should have done that because I never did that. But yeah, a couple times, like, my backpack locker, the one that I didn't put the lock in, would get broken into, not broken into, but like I would get robbed. Like, I had good highlighters, I had good pencils, and they would get stolen. And I knew who did it to, you guys, because one time this guy made it really obvious. He was like, I like opened the locker and my charger was so good, it was like wrapped in duct tape, but like my charger was like sitting outside of my backpack inside the locker. So like I knew somebody broke into it because my charger was inside of my backpack. And then this guy was like, oh yeah, like, your charger's like outside of your backpack. Like, he made it so obvious. And then like my like highlighters and my pencils were stolen. Like, if you didn't have any, you could have just asked me if you could borrow it, and I would have let you borrow it. But no, this guy like stole it. And that happened like maybe 3 times, and it's just so dumb. Like, and what makes me mad is that I didn't tell him anything. But then why would I tell him anything? Because if I told him something, like, he would have like been so dumb, either try to gaslight me and tell me that he did it, or probably try to fight me. And one thing about me, like, I'm not trying to fight nobody because I cannot fight to save my life. Like, I'm very like defenseless, if that makes sense. Like, I cannot fight anybody. Like, that's like the death of me. And so yeah, that's like one reason why I didn't like my PE class. I mean, I did like my PE class and I did have a few friends, but that's like something that made it hard in high school because I was like, dang, like what the heck, like, but like the fact that like people had like the audacity to take from me because they knew that I wasn't gonna do anything, and because they knew that I was a quiet kid, they knew I was gonna be awkward, so they knew I was gonna do anything. They were standing up for myself, and that's like what really kind of hurt. Is not because of what they did, but it just hurt because they kind of saw my weakness. But yeah, so that happened. And what also I didn't like about freshman year was my math class. My math class was like filled with like people who weren't just freshmen. Like, there was a lot of sophomores and juniors in that class because they previously had failed that class, so they had to retake it with freshmen. And that class was so dumb because literally it was full of like people who didn't care. And it's okay to not care, but they were like always distracting everybody. And was just like, I don't know, the people in that class just like made me just like really hate that class. Like, we sat in groups and our seats were assigned to us, and that class is like, I'm so glad that class is over, and I'm so glad that I don't associate with any of those people. I only was cool with like 3 people in that class, and then like everybody else is just like really quiet. But that class mostly was filled with people who messed around in that class and didn't care in that class. So yeah, like as I said, like we were sitting in groups and like we couldn't change our seats because we had a seating chart. I was sitting next to, who was I sitting with? At first I was sitting next to these 3 girls. One of them was a junior at the time. She was really nice and she actually talked to me and stuff, but she ended up dropping the class and like getting switched to another class. One of the other girls was nice too, but she got moved to another group and she had to switch seats with someone. So we were left with I think it was just me. I forgot who took the junior girl's spot. I forgot who took her spot, but it was me, this girl that I went to middle school with, and then this other girl that I also went to middle school with. So like I kind of knew them by face, but I didn't actually know them. But they were just really annoying because one girl wouldn't stop talking about her man at the time, and her man like she and her man were both toxic. Like, that's not okay. I have no say because I wasn't the one in the relationship. But if I was her man, I would not want her like that. Like, if she just gave me a big ick, like she would. I ran out of storage, but I just changed my SD card. But yeah, my desk was literally, how do I explain it? My desk was literally faced at the girls, so it wasn't faced at the board, which for some reason was faced the opposite way. So I was facing the girls who were always talking in my little group, and they were just so annoying. And they were just like your typical, like, I don't know, they were so annoying. Like, and then because I was a quiet kid and awkward, like they thought that I was really smart, but in reality, like I was more dumber. Like, I was more dumb than like they would have thought. Like because like I was quiet in that class, they thought I was paying attention all the time. And I would be taking notes, but I didn't understand anything in that class. And one time, one of the girls, the one who was always talking about her boyfriend, she was like, hey, like, what did you get? Like, do you have the answer for this question? And I was like, no, I don't understand it. And she'd be like, liar. And like she'd like pressure me and like not instigate, but she would try to like get me to tell her what the answer was. But in reality, I didn't know what the answer was because I didn't know how to do it. And she would try to get it out of me that I knew the answer, but I really didn't, and it was really annoying. And then also like other people too in that class, like the group that was sitting next to us, there was this one girl who was like really wanting the answers, and I didn't know the answers, but obviously the 2 girls who were sitting with me who were always talking never knew the answers. And they were just being really awkward about, like, they weren't like being awkward about it, but like they were making me feel awkward about it. Like, I was like, they would like, I don't know, it's gonna sound so weird, but like one of them was like, oh, like this girl right here will give you a hug if you give her the answer. I'm like, I don't want a hug from her. Like, no, the last thing I want is to touch her. Like, they were just like being weird like that because like they wanted the answers, but I didn't know the answers, and they didn't understand that, and they would try to, I guess, like bribe me to give them the answer with a hug from one of the girls, and I'm like, no, I don't even know. Even if I had the answer, like I wouldn't want a hug from any of you guys. Yeah, it was so dumb. Like, that class, like, I wish I could forget about that class because it was so dumb. Also, like, in high school, it made it hard for me to like it was that everybody just assumed that I was gay. And I think that's because of, like, my body language. Like, people just, like, looked at me and just assumed I was gay because of the way I talked, the way I acted. But in reality, I'm not, and I shouldn't have to, like, you know, and, like, what sucks is that being gay or anything was seen as like an insult. I don't even know why I did that, but like it really sucks because it wasn't normalized back in the day. Back in the day, that was like literally like a few years ago. But like it wasn't really normalized yet, and it was barely starting to be like become normalized, and people saw it more of it as an insult than, I don't know, but like people saw more of an insult. But what made me like, I didn't ever see being gay as an insult, but what was an insult to me is that people would like make fun of me and feel awkward or like feel ashamed. And like what sucks is like I'm not even gay, so like why am I feeling ashamed for people are making fun of me for that, and I'm not even that. One time, like, these two guys that like I sat next to later in that year, I didn't have a choice to sit by them, like it was a seating chart, like I said, but they were talking about like what would you do if like your neighbor was gay or whatever, something like that. Like I can't really remember, but they were just like talking about that, and one of them was like, shh, like Paulo's right there, and like they literally said that loud, like out loud, and like I was sitting like next to them, and then one of them said that, and the other guy was like, that's messed up. And like that just like made me annoyed because like they're just, I don't know, they're like being like that, and it just like made me annoyed because they made that assumption about me. They didn't even know me. Like, I don't know, it just like made me feel annoyed. And then also another thing that people would tell me, a couple people like went up to me and they're like, have you ever seen the clown that hides from gay people? And like in my health class, like this guy dared this other guy to ask me that, like it was an ongoing joke. And I was confused when I first heard it, and I was like, no, like what clown? And they were like laughing at me. And someone else, like probably like a few weeks later, asked me that question, and I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh the first time either. It was so annoying because like people actually like would make fun of people if they were gay, and the fact that I'm not even that, and I shouldn't have to, nobody should have to, like, nobody owes you an explanation. Even if I was, you know, I don't owe anyone an explanation. I don't have to tell anybody that I am, like that I am if I were to be, but that's what made me annoyed too. So I'm really glad that freshman year was over, and good riddance, goodbye and good riddance to all those people, all the haters. But yeah, like that gave me like a really bad first impression in high school. So ever since then, like I kind of like didn't like anyone in high school besides like my friends. And also like there was 2 lunch periods when I was in high school for like my first 2 or 3 years. And my freshman year, I had like lunch with all my friends. My second year, I literally was the only one who had 4th period lunch while all my friends had 5th period lunch. And therefore like we kind of like drew apart from each other. And yeah, so sophomore year was probably like my favorite year of high school, to be honest. I wasn't made fun of much. In fact, I can't remember any time I was made fun of in my sophomore year. Oh, also, like, I'm just gonna like be jumping back and forth. Also, I did wrestling in my freshman year, and like it completely sucked because I did wrestling my 8th grade year, and then I did wrestling my freshman year of high school, and it really sucked because I wasn't good, and because I wasn't good, none of my teammates would like pay attention to my matches or anything, and like I was like always like being left out and clowned on because I wasn't good, and like nobody cared. But then everybody else cared for each other. Everybody was like messing around with each other. Everybody was talking around with each other. Because they were all good, but except for me. And I was like I felt left out. And then I had like a couple friends in wrestling too, so like that was good. But yeah, I quit wrestling after that year. And then like what really sucked was that like nobody watched my matches for my team because I always lost. But then the one time that I actually won, nobody was watching it. So actually the 2 times that I won, nobody was watching it. So it really sucked. So I was like, I'm never doing that again. Sophomore year was a good year. Like I liked my classes a lot more too. Like I was getting along with more people and talking to more people in my classes. And also I joined the swim team, and it was really fun my sophomore year. And I made more friends because my friends, I had like friends as a sophomore. I had friends who were freshmen. They were my friends, when I was in 8th grade, I had friends that were 7th graders. So like all those like friends that were younger than me got to go to my high school with me, and therefore like I had more people to talk to and hang out with, and it was really cool. I gotta get going, by the way. I'm gonna continue this later. I'm back, you guys. I went to get my faded again, because my hair kind of goes by quick. I mean, I think that's how it is for all men, because it's kind of what's frustrating is that you get a fade and then it grows back within like 3 days. Like, why can't it last forever? But yeah, so yeah, well, I don't forgot where I was at. Sophomore year was like a much better year. It's kind of cold in here. Sophomore year was much a better year for me, but sophomore year. What happened sophomore year? I feel like something in sophomore year, like I know sophomore year kind of got hard. Actually, no, sophomore year was literally my favorite year. Like, it was such a, okay, maybe not like it was not such a good year, but it was honestly a good year sophomore year. Like, I have no regrets from sophomore year. However, I remember sophomore year I started auditioning for the drumline at my school, and I auditioned for my sophomore year, but I didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But I found more use of my time by doing swim, and I've noticed a pattern is I was always doing some kind of extracurricular activity, and I feel like one thing that like sucked about it was that my grades weren't good, and my grades kind of declined. I didn't get the best grades in high school, especially in math. Like, one thing about me, you guys, like math was not gonna cut it for me. Sophomore year, can't complain about it. I enjoyed what I did sophomore year. Swim, I liked my classes. Biology was my favorite class because the teacher was so funny, and like the environment in that class was funny too. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And then junior year, see, the first half of my junior year was really good. I made more friends. I was more involved with like youth group. I made more friends. I didn't make the drumline again. And yeah, so the first half of it was good, but then my mental health started like to decline like a lot, and I would say that I was living with undiagnosed OCD for like since I was a kid, but it like didn't really like affect me as much until junior year. It was so bad. And then I did swim also that year, but I wasn't enjoying it as much. And one thing about me, when I'm cold, you guys, I'm cold, and like I do not stop complaining about how cold I am when I'm cold. And I was always the last one to be in the swimming pool during swim practice, and it was very humbling. Yeah, junior year, that was it. Living with undiagnosed OCD like was probably like one of like the hardest things I've ever like had to deal with, because I didn't know like what was going on. And like I feel like even people like my senior year, like my friends even like saw, they probably noticed something, because I couldn't even touch any doorknobs, you guys. It was that bad, like germophobic, that I could not touch a doorknob. I would always be putting on hand sanitizer like probably 5 times a class period, and I'm surprised that nobody asked me why I did that so much. Yeah, and then senior year, I auditioned for the drumline for the 4th time, and I didn't make the cut again. So I was like, I'm just not gonna do marching band anymore. Like, if I'm not playing an instrument that I really want to play, then I'm just wasting my time. And yeah, so I didn't do that anymore. I joined water polo, but it was so weird because if you're doing water polo as a senior, you have to be in the varsity. You cannot be in JV. It's not like wrestling, because wrestling, it's like anyone could be in varsity, anyone could be in JV, because to be in varsity, you have to be like the best wrestler from each weight class. They can only have one wrestler from each weight class, and obviously I wasn't gonna cut it. Like, so that was basically it for this video. I had like more footage, but my phone ran out of storage, so all the videos from my camera will not like transfer to my phone because I ran out of storage. But basically, like towards the end of the video, like I was talking about, I forgot like where I left off on, but basically like my senior year, like I did wrestling again, and it was like much better than my freshman year. Like I was in JV because, like I said, like there could only be one person from each weight class, and I wasn't gonna cut it. Like there was people who I was like actually scared to wrestle because I knew they're gonna snap me in half if I were to wrestle them and try to like get the 132 position weight class for varsity. So like I didn't even want to. Like I knew I wasn't going to, but I did have a varsity match, but I didn't end up winning. But I lasted all the way to the 3rd round, so like I won like strength. Okay, like I didn't win, but like I lasted till the 3rd round, so like it was okay. But yeah, I'll continue this video like some other time, maybe if like there's like more stuff that I can think about, like about high school, like in my experience. But I'll just leave you guys there, and thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please comment your favorite kind of donut.